Okay, now got another well-used ZTS book for Union Pacific. Also called them hub books. This says industrial track numbers and spotting guides for Salt Lake City, Utah, to Layton, Utah, to Clearfield, to Ogden, Granger subdivision, all the way to Idaho division. Part 1. I'm breaking this book into 2 parts because there's a lot of information. This is from September 1987. ZTS books are Union Pacific's version of how to find the cars that they're switching, or to put the cars that are switching, the system they use, and all the notes, and all the good stuff there. So when they're going out and looking for train cars to swap out, there's information on here of where the customer wants the car, what type of car you put it. You know, you don't put a tanker car on a piggyback ramp, and you don't put a piggyback car or a trailer on a flat car in front of a place we're going to unload tank cars. And at the end, it's got responsibility of the crews. We're not going to worry about that because we're not a crew. We're just rail fans who like information like this. So here we come into the table of contents, more or less. It says what pages are what yards, so on and so forth. It's got this little map in the middle. It shows Brigham City here, Brigham City, and then this branch here are historical, and we'll get to them. Clearfield is a really neat place. Yeah, Ogden, all the way up, including Park City branch. Park City branch will be on part 2, definitely. So in this book, we have the names of the businesses. Each one of these ZTS books are different. So the one I did the other day, everything is on one page. This one, it's on multiple pages. So you have Salt Lake City, Utah, CSC area, Yard 1, Salt Lake City, OCC, Ogden subdivision. These are the track numbers here. This was interesting. Goat Pit. North Rip Track. Rip Track is repair in place. I have no idea what a goat track is. Maybe someone out there can tell me. There. Again, if you're modeling, this is great information. If you're chasing trains, it's good information. So you know what the tracks are there. Now remember, this is a very old book, so whatever was there in 1987 probably isn't there in 2024. I've been up to this area a few times, but I never had a book with me. So when you look at this map here, it says to yard 48, garden lead. Down here it says your yard 1, page 1, and this dotted line at the bottom says that's where the Denver Rio Grande main was. Now it's all one railroad, but back in 87 they were separate. Continuing on, we have a large map of the Salt Lake City, Utah yard. It doesn't look like this today, but in 1987 it did. If you go to Salt Lake City, the station is no longer on the main line. The station is now blocks away from the main line, but the local streetcars do go to the front of the old Union Pacific station. The old Denver Rio Grande station has no tracks anywhere near it. So again, Denver Rio Grande main down here. More tracks, more maps. And we come to a list of track numbers. Amico, Petrolane, independent paper stock. Chevron. And then here's the map. In this case, a dotted line. Yard 48 is down the road here. When they show a area in a square like this, that means it's nearby, but it's not right next to this. This one here shows there's a fence around this complex, but these and these could be 5 or 10 miles apart. This one has a dotted line, says fence, so that's part of the complex. This square for Bex, Utah is down the road a piece from Ogden. And then we have Salt Lake City, Utah, Ogden subdivision, North Salt Lake, Pioneer, Utah, Woods Cross, Utah, Centerville, Utah, Kaysville, Utah, and Layton, Utah. Smith's Food King. There's a name I haven't seen in a while. We used to have them in California, and then they all migrated up to Las Vegas. Here's your next map. Husky Oil down there. Stockyards here. Now, Pioneer, Utah is nowhere near Woods, Utah, based on this little square. But all the information is on one page. September 1987. And if you look at this one, instead of having an arrow, it shows a Union Pacific seal. North is this way, south, west, and east. Haven't seen that before on any other books, so it's a new touch. Centerville, Utah, Layton, Utah, Kaysville, Utah. And up here in this corner is the Denver Rio Grande. Now we come to Clearfield, Utah. Now we have yard 6 and yard 7. Continuing, Clearfield, Utah. Go Pillsbury, Del Monte, U.S. Steel, Metro, Davis County School, Freeport, and here's our map. Shows Clearfield, Utah. Yard 6 and yard 6. Doesn't say there's a fence, but traditionally they want to be near each other. It's just everything's compressed so you can see it easier. This is where it gets interesting. You got Denver Rio Grande going across the top. The main line is over here, and where my thumb is. And then these square boxes are warehouses with a railroad network down the middle. I was out here at Clearfield, Utah in May of 2019. On this track here, 820, which would be 820 1987, was a very unusual looking boxcar. It had steel poles wrapped around it, best way I can put it, and it was the lead boxcar for the solid rocket booster shipments. This thing would be tucked in behind the engine, and it would break off any branches or any obstacles on the way to Florida, so that the solid rocket booster cars wouldn't have anything broken or torn on their sides. Next page continues the complex. main lines here. Here's the complex. And then for our map, north is in that direction. South is coming this way. West and east. There's the compass for that one. And that's where part 1 ends at Clearfield.